If your e-commerce brand isn't growing the way that you want it to, it's probably because you're making the one mistake that 90% of all e-commerce brands are making, which is just focusing in on that first sale. But here's the thing. If you're only setting yourself up and only acquiring that first sale from your customers, then you're basically just setting yourself up for more stress, lower margins, and just basically inconsistent revenue. Meanwhile, the biggest brands in e-commerce like Manscaped, True Classic, and Dr. Squatch, they're not just selling one product. They're selling an ecosystem that they're getting their customers into so they can start upselling them different types of products to maximize the lifetime value of that one customer. And that's exactly what I'm going over in today's video. How to maximize your customer's lifetime value, the different tips and tricks that you could use, and how you can incorporate email marketing into this whole thing to really maximize that lifetime value that I was talking about. So let's dive right into my computer so I can show you the entire process. All right, so here's the real reason why your e-commerce store isn't growing. So the most common mistake that brands make, especially when they're first starting out, around that 10 to I'd say around $100,000 a month kind of range, is that you're only focusing in on that first sale, basically trying to acquire as many customers as possible, which is very obvious. I mean, when you're first starting out your brand, you need to acquire new customers. You need to have that kind of proof of concept when it comes to your advertising. But when you're only focusing in on that first sale, your profit margins are so much more slimmer. So let me show you. Right here, we have like a little graphic that I made. So we have a $100 sale. You sell something for $100 basically. You spend $50 on, like, let's say Facebook to acquire that customer, and then you have to fulfill on that order with $20. So then you're only left with $30 in profit. Now, let's say that we have some sort of upsells or some sort of systems in the back end to get them to make that second purchase. Here's what your profit would look like. So we have that same $30 in profit. But now if we get that same person to purchase a second time on your site, let's say something for $50, and you only have to fulfill for $10 for the actual fulfillment, now you're left with $40 in extra profit, where that one customer is now valued at $70 for you rather than that original $30. So why is this so important to focusing on your LTV? So you'll make substantially more profit by focusing in on this LTV, basically building a moat around your business. So the more cash that you have on hand, you'll be able to use in basically different forms of advertising, basically actually building the business will once again allow you to test new things inside of your business and allow you to think and make better decisions because you're not going to be so stressed about not having as much cash on hand. Another thing on why it's so important is that you could spend more to acquire that one customer. So by understanding the LTV per customer, you are able to actually spend more to acquire that one person, or in better terms, spend more than your competitors to acquire that one customer. So let me show you. If this is your entire business right here, where you're only getting in that one sale, now you only have basically like a $30 window to spend more to acquire that one customer, which is just going to eat into your margins. And anything past that $30 is basically you losing money. But now if we incorporate a system where we could get people to purchase a second and third time to your site, now you have a $70 window, which is a lot higher than obviously that $30 window, and you have more room to become more profitable on your actual site. The third reason why it's so important is that it costs way more to get a new customer than to get a repeat customer. So paid ads have not gotten cheaper. They have repeatedly year over year gotten more and more expensive. So it's costing more and more to get customers to actually buy your product, which is going to eat into your margin. So it'll actually be easier to get somebody to purchase from you once and then get them to purchase again on your site rather than getting someone completely new to buy on your site, just basically once. So I'll show you actually how to do this very, very soon. So I just wanted to show you a few examples on some e-com giants who do this very, very amazingly. So here's Manscaped. They basically sell like body hair trimmers. That's like their hero product. So let's give this example. They sell their Lawnmower 5.0, which is basically like the actual, it's like the battery, the actual hair trimmer. But over time, the blade that this hair trimmer is using, it gets worn out and dusty. So the customer is now forced to buy the replacement blades for this actual razor. They use education and different types of content to actually showcase like what happens if you don't replace these, which is going to force people to buy more blades. And basically that Lawnmower 5.0, it cannot use any other blades other than the ones that they sell. So now they get this customer for, let's say, $100, and now this person needs to buy replacement blades, let's say $50 every single year. Now they're basically just getting $50 every single year from this one person, and now they know that they can spend way more to actually get that customer because they know how much money that one person is going to spend on their site. Another person who does this great, and they do it in two ways, is True Classic. So the owner now isn't just selling one-off shirts because he knows that's not going to build a huge company. So they implemented different types of bundles and deals to have people spend more while getting a discount. So they have this thing called building a custom pack, which is basically like a bundle volume discounts type of offer where if they spend or if they get 3 items or more, they get 33% off. 6 items or more is 44% off. And then 9 items or more is 50% off. So this makes people buy in basically bundles of 3, which is going to increase their average order value, basically getting people to spend more for that initial purchase as well. And increasing the discount to 50% off of 9 items is going to entice people to actually add more items to their cart. So they're just increasing that average order value for that customer. Another way that they do it is through this thing called Insiders Club, which is like their kind of like membership in a way. So if they join, the customer basically gets 10% off of their first order, unlimited free shipping, 20% off or 20% back on every single order, a private community, and like surprise cash gifts. And this is going to do a few things for their actual company. It's going to build MRR, or monthly recurring revenue, for their brand, which is actually going to make the company worth a lot more. On top of that, it's going to build a lot more loyalty with customers. So if they're getting such good value out of this membership and they're paying $1 every single month for this membership, they're only going to be coming to True Classic for their clothes, basically, because they're already bought into it and they've already obviously purchased once off their site. And then on top of that, all the value that they're getting, it just makes sense for them to go back to True Classic when they need, let's say, another shirt, for example. Another person or another brand that does this very well is Dr. Squatch. So just selling a $7 shampoo is going to be very, very hard to scale because obviously as you scale with paid ads, your cost to acquire customer is going to be a lot higher as well. So what did the owner of Dr. Squatch do? They incorporated different types of subscribe and save models, which is very, very common for most brands. This just allows them to build some more MRR and just basically keep customers inside of the ecosystem, basically getting, let's say like a bar of soap every single like month or so. But they also incorporated a custom subscription. So the customer is now able to pick up 6 soap bars, 1 deodorant stick, 5 lotions for your balls, 5 hair kits, and 5 body washes. They could fully customize this to their liking. And now, rather than them selling just a $7 shampoo, they're now selling every single product that this one customer needs for their hygiene needs, basically. They have soap, deodorant, lotion, hair kits, and body wash. You can't really name anything else that a man needs, basically. So this is how they're able to basically get people inside of their ecosystem to buy more and more products rather than just having one product and getting one sale off of this one customer. The main way that they're able to do this is because they know their LTV to CAC. And this is basically the North Star for any business. And basically understanding this one metric will shape how you go about your marketing. So let me explain this further. We basically have the lifetime value of the one customer, basically how much money is this one person spending on your site, and then over or divided by the cost to acquire that one customer. So let's use this for example. We spend $50 to acquire that one customer, and then they spend $200 on our site. 200 divided by 50 is basically a 4x LTV to CAC. And a great kind of benchmark for e-commerce businesses when it comes to LTV to CAC is basically 3 to 1. Or a super, super healthy business is 4 to 1. And your entire goal when you're running your business is just how do I maximize how much money somebody is spending on my site for the least cost to acquire that one person. And that's basically what I'm going to be going over right now. So all these brands and all these huge e-com giants focus on this, but how can you also replicate it for your company? So building LTV for your brand, really, you could do it in so many ways. And our main goal is just to get this customer to purchase again on your site. So here are some best practices. You can incorporate a post-purchase flows to basically remind them about your brand, get them to use your products, and basically upsell them into other basically products. You could start creating upsell offers, and you could also use this app called One Click Upsell on your site, which you could basically, as soon as somebody makes a purchase on your site, you could have this pop-up that comes up as, hey, add this to your cart as well. They basically click one button like buy now, and immediately they basically purchase it off the bat. So that's like another app that you could also use. There's loyalty and reward program flows that you could also incorporate, as well as replenish and win back flows on your site. So you could build out flows for each one of these, and I'm going to show you how to do it inside of this video as well. So what makes a good upsell offer? Basically something that you could sell to basically increase your margins. And it just has to make sense for that customer. So it has to be like an adjacent product. It helps that original product perform better. Or you could just simply do like a simple discount off or just offer free shipping. So here's some examples of good upsells that we are using for our clients. So we have a company that we work with that sells dresses. So inside of our post-purchase flows, we're upselling a ton of jewelry like necklaces, bracelets, all that type of stuff, so they can look better in their dress, obviously. We have a company that basically they came to us and they were only getting that one sale off of their customers. They're selling a dog toy. Now what we're doing is that we're upselling attachments for that one dog toy so we can maximize that lifetime value for that one person, because sometimes those attachments get worn out, or their dog just wants to have a bunch of different attachments so they can also continue to be active. Another one is just basically like a skincare company. So we're selling moisturizer and then we're upselling different types of basically skincare products like eye creams or like cleanser for this example. Now I want to get into the post-purchase flow. So this entire flow is basically once somebody makes that first order on your site, you want to be able to improve the customer experience and get them to purchase again on your site. So here are the email topics that you need inside of this flow. The first one is going to be a thank you email. So it's going to be sent 5 minutes after their purchase. I typically like to do it from the actual founder. We like to do like offering some support, and we like to do a soft upsell inside of the PS line. So what do I mean by this? We basically have like, oh, thank you for your order. I appreciate you so much. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's our support number. Here's our support email. And then in the PS line, you could put, hey, I just found this 10% off lying around. Use this on your next purchase. That's like a soft upsell that we could have in the PS line that works very, very great. Next email inside of this flow is going to be how to use the product, or an upsell email straight up. So it's going to be sent out 2 days after their purchase. And our entire mentality, especially when so many people are buying more things online, is that even with me, when I purchase something online and it takes a really long time for it to get to my house, or I needed it at that moment, and then once I actually got to my house, I didn't need it anymore, you're basically not going to get that customer again because they're not even using your original product. So we want to get people to actually use our products, because if they actually find value in that one product, then we could upsell them the same or another product on top of that. And then we want to, obviously, the way that we do that is by giving them instructions on actually how to use it. So for a moisturizer, we could give them some tips on like, okay, use it in the morning, use it right before your shower, or different types of tips that we could give them to actually use the product that they have bought from us. Now, if your product doesn't really need that much education, like for a dress, for example, we just immediately upsell them another product inside of this email. So for example, they bought a dress originally. Inside of this email, we start upselling them different types of jewelry that would go well with that one dress. Now this customer is going to say, hey, I already bought this. Why don't I go ahead and buy the rest of, this jewelry so I could also, look good for my wedding or my party, something like that. Email number 3 is going to be like a how's it going email. So it's going to be 7 days after the item actually has arrived. Just basically like a plain text email asking how they basically like their item, asking for a review to also increase your social proof. And you could either gather some UGC with this as well. And then at the very end of this flow, we just have a I like to do a discount inside of this email. What's going to be like an offer. It's going to be sent out 5 days later. And then basically you're creating an offer to get them to purchase again on your site. So you could use the offer that you had made originally right here. Like let's say you created like some good upsell. You could use that offer, and then you could also add a discount on top of it. So you could really, really get them to make that purchase again on your site. Next thing I want to dive into is loyalty and rewards programs. So this is basically a customer that is basically building loyalty with your brand. All we're trying to do is get them to build up these points, and you could use different apps like Smile, Recharge, or Joy. They very easily just integrate into Shopify, and they'll be able to build up points with your brand and get to use those points to purchase on your site. And you're able to structure the way that they get these points by building your social proof, getting more reviews, and just basically giving you more exposure. For example, for one of our clients, we do, hey, share us on Instagram with your product and you'll get, 100 points, and 100 points is equal to $1. So then they'll be more inclined to actually share your products on their story, which is also going to give you more referrals on top of that. So this is just a great way to start building more loyalty with your customers and getting them basically attached to your brand for their other needs. Now, a keynote that I wanted to say is that some brands that I audit try to get people inside of their loyalty program even before their first purchase. Now, this is a huge mistake. It'll just delay the entire first sale and just ruin your conversion rate overall, because they're so focused on building up these points that they're just going to lose motivation in building up those points, and then just lose motivation in buying from your brand in general. Now, the best way you're able to actually use this loyalty program is that you incentivize them with a, let's say, a dollar amount off or like a percentage off on the first purchase, and then you get them inside of this program so they can build more loyalty, and they've actually already used your product so they could see that, hey, this is actually a brand that's worth advocating for. Now, I also want to get into some replenishment and win back flows. So it's very common that somebody's going to buy on your site once and they're just going to stop purchasing. They found another brand, they want to test different things out, all that type of stuff, even if they just forgot about your brand in general. Now, this is just a very effective method to get people back into the ecosystem. These are basically us retargeting those lapsed customers that are on your site. So it's also very effective for niches where your product kind of runs out. So for example, like skincare, hair care, like food and snacks, basically like after they use it for, let's say, 45 days, that product is going to run out and they're going to need another product. So basically, for example, let's use skincare. Let's say I'm selling eye cream and the average amount of days that it takes for that eye cream to run out for all of our customers is 45 days. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a flow 35 days after their purchase, and I'm going to say something like, hey, looks like your eye cream is about to run out, stock up today. Basically reminding them, and we're kind of like calling them out like, hey, your eye cream is about to run out. You don't want to lose the routine of, applying your eye cream every single night, and stock up before it runs out. So setting up the flow 5 to 10 days before it actually runs out is just a great way to strike urgency. And then you're able to just get these people back into your site as well. So that's basically for like replenishment. Now for win back, what you're going to do is that after, let's say, 6 months of no purchases, you just want to shoot like quick reminders and quick offers to also get them back to your site. So what I like to do is very heavy discounts as well, because these people have bought on our site before. They haven't purchased in such a long time. We need to incentivize them with a very high discount amount to get them back to your site and make that purchase again. So this is basically the real growth strategy for your entire e-commerce brand. But I want to preface, acquiring new customers is very important. Without it, your business will not grow. But you will catch yourself in a very stressful cycle if you do not maximize the value of your customer. And you need to focus in on 2 branches, which is the LTV to CAC. The CAC, how do I get the lowest amount of cost possible to acquire one customer? And then the LTV, how do I get this customer to purchase multiple times on your site? And then once again, you're able to build your LTV by creating upsell offers, building loyalty programs, and creating flows to promote these offers and programs. So that's basically it for this entire video. That's how you increase your lifetime value of every single customer and how you're actually able to grow your e-commerce brand in 2025. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.